I just got a new payment agreement today, about 10 minutes ago, and they upped everything. So somewhere around $500 additional a month. So is
And
there
were
any
you
way
in
we can
court today?
recalculate? Yeah, I had two courts today. I've asked to reschedule this one. The Office Attorney General told me no. I asked the Attorney General. I actually got on the phone and talked to someone personally, and she was hysterical and wondering why I'm calling her. And I told her why, and she
The Attorney
told me,
General's
"Oh,
office was hysterical?
yeah." She was like, "I don't understand why you're calling me. You have
And-
court tomorrow. You have this. You have that tomorrow. You got
Your
all
Honor,
this
at this
going on
time, I'm going to
tomorrow."
object to hearsay. When did you stop living in the same household as Miss Robles?
March 12th, when he had me arrested. He filed a P1 case on me.
I'm sorry, he filed a what case?
P1, a priority one, which means it was immediate. They had to come and put eyes on my daughter within 24 hours immediately.
She was gonna claim postpartum distress
Objection,
or
Your Honor,
depression or
hearsay.
whatever. I've been kept away from my child and alienated from her. She has a drug problem. She has a problem with just taking care of herself. I mean,
Objection, Your
Her whole
Honor.
entire family.
Speculation assumes facts, not in evidence.
okay, there was no speculation whenever she said that I
Okay,
went to
hold
her
on, Mr.
home,
Robles.
knocked on
Ms.
her
Robles,
window.
Ms. Robles, did you personally see Miss Sierra consume any drugs?
Yes.
Do you know if
Not
Luna
even-
sustained any injuries?
During that time, no. I
Okay.
didn't see that she sustained any injuries, but there is another time. For some reason, she took her off of Medicaid. I'm guessing so that I pay more, because she said that the only way that she could afford paying for the baby is to go get blood transfusions.
And what's your title?
Child support officer.
And what are your job duties?
I conduct investigation, calculate child support, retroactive child support, and medical support amount.
Okay, and how do you do that?
I research, report wages, income for, in this case, for Mr. Robles.
Is this the usual course of business to perform this type of research?
Yes.
Okay, and when did you do this research for Mr. Robles in this case?
Sorry, on 9/20/23.
Okay, so you conducted this research in the last hearing when we were set before the judge.
Correct.
Okay, and what were the results of your research?
So the results of my research, that
Oh,
the
one moment. Mr. Robles, there's noise coming from your area. Are you driving or anything?
No.
Okay. You may proceed, sorry.
No worries. So on my research, the monthly gross income for Mr. Robles was 4,544 with 99 cents.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? 4,000?
4,544 with 99 cents. And Miss Sierra is providing health insurance. The max is that we can give her credit. It's the 9% of 409. Then the net income came out to 3,399 with 74 cents, giving him credit for two other children. So the percentage came out to 16.00%, and the monthly child support came out to 544.
And Ms. Gonzalez, you prepared a proposed child support calculation sheet for this case, correct?
Yes.
And it reflects the testimony, pretty much what you testified to today.
Correct.
Okay, Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to offer State's Exhibit 1 as the proposed child support calculation sheet as a shorthand rendition of the testimony provided by Ms. Gonzalez.
Do either of you have any objection to me admitting that document as State's Exhibit? What it was 1?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is your legal objection, sir?
I just got a new payment agreement today, about 10 minutes ago, for Abigail, and they upped everything. So somewhere around $500 additional a month. So is
And
there
were
any
you
way
in
we can
court today?
recalculate? Yeah, I had two courts today. I've asked to reschedule this one. The Office Attorney General told me no. They're both at 11:30 a.m. today.
Is yours on this docket or a different county?
Same county.
Okay,
I've already had the case with Abby. We
Okay.
just finished,
okay.
and yeah, they upped everything. So
And Your Honor, at this time, I would like to interject there and respond to that. It's not a legal objection. And Ms. Gonzalez did include that there was a credit for 2 other children, which is the case that Mr. Robles is referring to. So he was given the credit as far as the 2 other children that he has a court order obligation to support.
Okay.
I'm just asking for it to be reviewed one more time before it's submitted.
Okay, I'm going to admit the exhibit, sir, but I'm going to give you a chance to ask questions to Ms. Gonzalez to confirm anything you wish to confirm.
May I
And
proceed,
then
Your
I
Honor?
have a question though before we continue. It sounds like he wanted to reset the case, but was told no, but why wasn't he given the opportunity to request a reset from me?
Your Honor, I wasn't, Mr. Robles did not ask for a reset on this case. This case was already reset from last Thursday, only on the issue of being able to exchange the exhibits.
Documents, yes.
Exactly. Yes, Your Honor. There
So-
was not a request for a reset for this case, Your Honor.
Yesterday, I talked to the Attorney General's office, and I did not know both of them were initiated at the same time and date. My alarm went off yesterday to tell me that I was going to court. Then it went off again, telling me I was going to court again at the same time. When I saw that it was both at the same time, I immediately called the Attorney General's office. I asked the Attorney General, I actually got on the phone and talked to someone personally. And she was hysterical and wondering why I'm calling her. And I told her why. And she
The Attorney
told me,
General's
"Oh,
office was hysterical?
yeah," she was like, "I don't understand why you're calling me. You have court tomorrow, you have this, you have that tomorrow. You got
Your
all this
Honor, at
going
this
on
time, I'm going to
tomorrow."
object to hearsay.
I'm going to
And
sustain the objection. Sir, are you
Yeah, you
asking to reset this case? That is all that matters.
No,
at
I'm asking,
this- Okay.
I'm just asking for my, for the child support payments, the lady that looks into that, if she can look into it again, because I just got my, like, it happened today.
Okay.
that
Okay,
I
I'm going
just
to
now
admit,
got.
as I said before, I'm admitting State's Exhibit 1, and I'm going to give you a chance, sir, once Ms. Villarreal is done questioning Ms. Gonzalez, to question Ms. Gonzalez as well. But Ms. Villarreal, you may proceed with your
thank you, Your
testimony.
Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. And Ms. Gonzalez, you also calculated the retroactive support in this case, correct?
Correct.
And what were your calculations for the retroactive child support?
Okay, so I used the same gross income of 4,544 with 99 cents. The net income 3,808 with 74 cents. 16% due that we are giving him credit for the other 2 children that he has. The monthly child support would have come out to 609. And for 7 months, that Ms. Berner is asking from March 12, 2023 to present, it's 7 months, so it's a total of 4,263.
And Your Honor, at this time, I am offering into evidence State's Exhibit 2, which is the proposed retroactive child support calculation as a shorthand rendition of Ms. Gonzalez's testimony.
Okay, does anyone have any objection to me looking at the shorthand rendition of her testimony? Any legal
No, ma'am.
objection?
The only objection I have is that, I offered to give her money.
Okay, we'll get to that,
If,
sir.
she let me.
Sir, you're gonna get a chance to do all of that, but right now I'm just asking if you have a legal objection to the document being admitted as a shorthand rendition. I understand you
Shorthand.
numbers on either of these
Yeah,
documents.
That's fine.
Okay. I'm going to admit that as State's Exhibit B,
Thank you.
or I'm sorry,
Uh,
2, State's 2,
2.
so we're consistent.
And Your Honor, at this time, actually have nothing further of this witness.
Okay. Mr. Robles, do you have any questions for Ms. Gonzalez?
Not so far.
Okay.
I'm guessing, the only question I would have is if it's going to be reviewed again or not.
So you have to ask Ms. Gonzalez questions. I'm the judge, I'm not the go-between.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, is my payments for child support for this case going to be reviewed again or no?
So the amounts that I have provided, it's what your employer has reported, and I already gave you credit for the other 2 children.
So no matter how much I'm paying on the other two, you've already illustrated how much I should be paying for them either way, compared to what I need to pay for the only child with Sierra.
Correct. I already gave you credit for the other two children, and we went based on percentage of 16%.
Okay, so no matter how much y'all just iterate it at 16%.
So I'm going based on the child support guidelines.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with how much I'm paying for the other. It just has everything to do with how much you're. Okay. So I'll have to file for another modify, and then modify this later.
Objection, Your Honor. Cause for legal advice. I don't believe that's an appropriate
I'm going to
question.
sustain that objection. That's not, you can't ask Ms. Gonzalez for legal advice, sir.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions for Ms. Gonzalez?
No.
Ms. Bruner, do you have any questions for Ms. Gonzalez?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Gonzalez, thank you for testifying, and you may be excused.
Thank you.
And Ms. Villarreal, you may call your next witness.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call Ms. Sierra. Ma'am, what is your relationship to the child in the suit?
She's my daughter. Well, I'm her
Okay.
mother.
Okay. And what's your daughter's name?
Luna Nicole Ann Robles.
How old is she?
She's 10 and a half months. She'll be 11 months on the 10th.
And who does Luna reside with primarily?
Me,
And how long has she been residing with you primarily?
her entire life.
And who's responsible for making the day-to-day decisions for Luna?
I am.
Okay. Who makes the medical decisions for Luna?
I am.
And who, let me ask you this, how involved is Mr. Robles?
He's not involved at all. He doesn't even contact me or try to contact me for her.
And ma'am, just to confirm, you and Mr. Robles already signed an acknowledgement of paternity for this child, correct?
When she was born at the hospital, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that parent-child relationship already exists between Luna and Mr. Robles, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and ma'am, what efforts has Mr. Robles made to be involved in the upbringing of Luna?
So we were together for the first 4 months of her life. So he was there. From there, we split up and he wanted to see her, but he couldn't because he had a protection order against me. So he was not allowed over here and I wasn't allowed over there. So I told him that he would have to wait until we went to court for any visitations. Last time we did get a court ordered of a temporary Band-Aid order for the 2 visits. He did not show up to the first visit, but he did show up to the second visit.
Okay, and let me ask you, how did that second visit go?
My daughter did not want to go to him until he pulled out his cell phone and she was entertained by his phone.
Okay, and how long did that visit last?
About 45 minutes. He left early.
Why did he leave early?
I'm not sure.
And how often do you communicate with Mr. Robles?
He does not communicate with me and I do not communicate with him.
How would you describe your co-parenting relationship then with Mr. Robles?
Anytime he would message to try to see her, it would never just be about the child. It would turn into a conversation about our relationship.
And then when did you stop living in the same household as Ms. Robles?
March 12th, when he had me arrested.
Okay. And what happened with that arrest, or what was the result of the arrest?
The charges got dismissed. They got completely dropped.
Okay. And what were the charges that were brought up against you?
Aggravated assault against a family member.
Okay. And at this time, you said that case has been dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any other pending criminal charges in any county?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay, do you know if Mr. Robles has any pending criminal charges in any county?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay, Ms. Bruner, you mentioned a protective order. Where was the protective order granted?
Out of Harris County.
Okay, and was it out of the criminal case that was brought up against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the protective order was, and what did it exactly say?
That I cannot go within 200 feet of his premises of his house, his job, or near him.
And ma'am, given that the criminal case has been dismissed, the protective order is no longer valid?
Correct.
Okay. And ma'am, has CPS ever been involved in this between you, Ms. Robles, and your daughter Luna?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when was the last time?
Whenever I got released out of Harris County Jail for my charges back in March, he filed a P1 case on me.
I'm sorry, he filed a what case?
P1.
Okay.
And-
P1 case with me,
What is a P1 case?
a priority one, which means it was immediate. They had to come and put eyes on my daughter within 24 hours immediately.
You said ICE?
Eyes, like their
Eyes,
eyes.
okay.
Correct.
Got it, understood. Sorry about that.
Thank you for
and-
clarifying.
Yes. And ma'am, what was the investigation against you?
That he stated that I abused my child.
Okay, and what was the result of that CPS investigation?
It was ruled out within 3 days.
Okay, and ma'am, you've actually provided documentation regarding that CPS
Yes, ma'am.
investigation, correct? And you at this time you'd like to offer that as an exhibit of your own so that the judge can see.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and Your Honor, at this time, I would like to offer that exhibit into evidence as Ms. Bruner's own exhibit. I don't know if it's marked, but I guess we can mark it.
CP1?
Yes, we can mark it
Okay.
as CP1.
Is it the one
Judge.
that's Robles CPS?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Robles, do you have any objection to me looking at that document and making it her exhibit 1?
No.
Okay. And Ms. Villarreal, do you have any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to admit the CPS document as CP1.
And ma'am, in that document, there were 2 alleged perpetrators, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was listed as alleged perpetrators?
I myself and my mother.
Okay. And the alleged victim was your daughter Luna?
My daughter Luna Robles.
Okay. And regarding the findings of both alleged perpetrators, what was the finding?
Ruled out.
Okay. And ma'am, is this the only time that CPS has investigated anything that has to deal with Luna?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ma'am, at this time, what are you requesting the court to order regarding the conservatorship of the child?
I want primary conservator and for her,
Okay, and what does primary conservatorship mean to you?
meaning that she resides with me and I am in control of her medical and where like her major life decisions.
Okay, and ma'am, you heard me testify or dictate on the record that the parties agreed that there would be a geographic restriction as to the residence of the child, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And at this time, do you agree that there should be a residence restriction to Galveston and its contiguous counties?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you believe that would be appropriate for your daughter?
Absolutely.
Okay, ma'am, let me ask you this. Are you asking the court to appoint you and Mr. Robles as joint managing conservators?
No, ma'am.
Why is that?
He's already told me that he will take my daughter from me. And he's already proven that he cannot show up to a visit. So he can come and go as he pleases. So I want the full instead of joint.
And has Mr. Robles ever shown up to your residence unannounced?
Since I've been arrested, no, ma'am.
Okay, prior to your arrest?
Yes, he would come over to my parents' house, knocking on the windows, begging for me to come back to him.
Okay, and when was the last time that
I've
Mr.
never
Robles did
done
that?
that.
Sir, please,
I've
you're gonna
never
get
done
you're
that.
gonna get a chance to be asked questions and to talk as well, but just let her testify and then you can testify.
It was back in January
Of which year?
2023.
And ma'am, there was a Band-Aid temporary order signed by this court, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Which included a non-disclosure finding for both you and Mr. Robles, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, what are you requesting the court to do on a final order regarding the non-disclosure of the identifying information?
I would prefer to state non-disclosure just so he can't continue to just show up unannounced.
And ma'am, let's go ahead and talk about if the judge were to order you as the primary conservator and give Mr. Robles visits, what do you believe would be appropriate visitation for Mr. Robles to have with your daughter?
Supervised visits.
And who would supervise those visits, ma'am?
My mother.
Okay. And how often would your mother be able to supervise those visits?
As often as the court would order it.
Okay. And what type of schedule are you requesting to be set for visits?
As in?
How often per month?
So I would like to do at least twice a month because like I said, he didn't even show up to the first one. And I would like for it to be supervised for the first at least 2 years because she does not know him.
And ma'am, in the event that your mother is unable to supervise, who else would be able to supervise those visits?
That I do not know because he agreed on my mother.
And how long would these supervised visits be?
At least an hour or two.
And where would these supervised visits take place?
I would prefer it to be at Paul Hopkins Park.
And in the event that, say the weather does not permit it to be at a park, do you have an alternate place where the supervised visits can take place?
It can be here at my house.
And
Well,
ma'am,
my parents.
do you believe that would be an appropriate location if it's at your parents' house?
It's either that or a police station.
Do you have another public place other than a police station?
It can be at like a McDonald's with the playhouse.
Okay. And ma'am, so you stated that you want supervised visits for 2 years. After the 2 years, what type of visitation would be appropriate?
The standard first, third, and fifth on Saturdays, but no overnights.
Okay. At any point, you believe overnights would be appropriate?
Not for a while, because he's already told me that he would try to take her.
So I'm sorry, what was your second phase you wanted?
Whereas this the standard the first, third, and fifth weekend, just not overnights.
Such as day visits?
David, yes, ma'am.
So longer day visits that are not supervised?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm sorry, let's go back to the overnight question. I'm sorry. So just for you can go ahead and answer again. When would it be appropriate for Luna to have overnight visits with Mr. Robles?
I'd want to say when she's at least 5 and she's old enough to know right from wrong of where to be at, and then she can be able to call me.
And ma'am, who do you believe the court should order to pay child support for Luna?
Patrick Robles.
Okay, and do you have any information on what well, let me ask you this, I'm sorry. Since your separation from Mr. Robles, has he provided any direct support for Luna?
No, ma'am.
And ma'am, you heard Ms. Gonzalez testify regarding the retroactive child support, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And at this time, you are requesting 7 months of retroactive support?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And ma'am, let me just go back for a second. Once Mr. Robles's visits are unsupervised, where do you believe the pickup and drop off should be?
The Dickinson Police Department.
And Ms. Brunner, is there anything else that you like to tell the court regarding this case?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Your Honor, at this time I pass this witness.
You may call your next witness.
At this time, I'd like to call Mr. Robles.
I'm here.
Sir, what is your relationship to the child?
Father.
Okay. And sir, when was the last time you saw Luna?
The last pickup order that we had the weekend before.
And sir, why did you only make one of the visits as opposed to the 2 that were already previously ordered?
There was 2 visits scheduled, only made one. The first one I missed is because of car trouble. Attempted to call Sierra. My phone's still blocked, so there was no way of contacting her.
And sir, at this time, do you believe it would be appropriate for the court to order that you, Ms. Sierra, communicate through a parenting application?
Parenting application, I mean, we can.
Okay. And sir, in the prior Band-Aid temporary order, there was a non-disclosure for both Miss Sierra and your information, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You have to say yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And sir, at this time, what are you do you believe that it would be appropriate to have that same finding in a final order?
No. I believe it's perfectly fine for her to know where I live and where I know where she lives, so that whenever I do get the baby, she knows where the baby's at, and whenever she has the baby, I know where the baby's at.
Okay.
I have
so at
never
this-
one time.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Robles. Let me
Go
ask
ahead.
you a question, okay? So at this time, you're asking the court to remove the non-disclosure finding for both of you?
Right.
Okay. And sir, you heard Miss Sierra testify regarding the criminal charge, correct?
Right.
And at this time, are you aware that that case has been dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Other
So
than
I was
that,
told. I was told that that she was gonna claim postpartum distress
Objection,
or
Your Honor,
depression or
hearsay.
whatever.
Sustained.
And,
Sir, you can't testify to things you heard from other people. You can only testify to things you know.
It was from the court, the prosecutor, I believe, from
objection,
that
Your Honor,
court.
hearsay.
That's still hearsay, sir, unless it's in a
Oh,
court
okay.
order.
I understand.
And Mr. Robles, at this time, there is not a protective order that involves you and Miss Sierra. Is that correct?
From my knowledge, no, there's not.
Okay. And sir, at this time, the CPS investigation has concluded, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. And other than the one investigation that happened earlier this year, has CPS ever been involved?
No, not
Okay.
with me and Luna and Sierra. Only that one
Okay.
time.
Okay. And Mr. Robles, who does Luna reside with primarily?
Her mother.
Okay. And who do you
I've been
believe she?
I've been kept away from my child and alienated from her.
Okay, Mr. Robles, hold on. Let me ask you the questions, okay? So who do you believe should designate the residence of Luna?
Myself.
Why?
Simple fact, she has a drug problem. She has a problem with just taking care of herself. I mean,
Objection, Your
Her whole
Honor.
entire family-
Speculation assumes facts, not an evidence.
okay, there was no speculation whenever she said that I
Okay,
went to
hold
her
on, Mr.
home,
Robles.
knocked on
Mr.
her
Robles,
window.
Mr. Robles, hold on. I presented an objection.
I'm going to overrule the
I'm not sure.
objection for now, but depending upon what his reasoning it. I guess you could voir dire him maybe and find out.
Okay,
how-
may
why
I
he
voir
thinks-
dire, Your Honor?
Yes, because he
Okay.
might know. He might have firsthand knowledge.
Okay, and Ms. Robles, I'm gonna ask you some questions, just answer the question, okay? And how do you know, or how do you know that Ms. Sierra has a drug problem?
Okay, so she was big time on cocaine. and
Okay,
her
hold
whole
on,
entire
Mr.
family
Robles.
disowned.
Mr. Robles, answer
Go
my
ahead.
question only. So
I am.
did you personally see Miss Sierra consume any drugs?
Yes.
Okay, and when was that?
While we were together, she has consumed drugs given by her family,
Okay,
and she has
hold on,
begged.
Ms. Robles,
my-
Ms. Robles, hold on,
Go
let me
ahead.
ask you the questions, okay? So when did you see Miss Sierra consume drugs?
While we were together,
When?
multiple, so many times. We broke up so many times because of it.
Okay, Ms. Robles, if you can give me a date as to when.
I couldn't give you a date, but you can pretty much pick any month, and there was at least 2 to 3 times.
Okay, and what was the choice of drug that you saw Miss Sierra consume?
Cocaine and some there was pain medicine. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Okay. But there was pain medication that was prescribed to her sister Kelly, and she told her family that I was abusing her. So she gave her the medication to help her with her pain from being abused, which I've never hit her.
Okay, and Mr. Robles, have you ever consumed any drugs?
Yes, marijuana.
Okay, and at this time, so Mr. Robles, when was the last time you resided with Miss Sierra?
Whenever I called the police officer and had her arrested, that's the day I kicked her out.
When, sir? What's the date?
I believe that was March 12th. I could be wrong, but I
Okay,
believe it was
so-
March 12th.
Thank you. So, sir, at this time, you have not resided with Miss Sierra, so you don't know whether she's actually consuming drugs at this time.
Oh no, I would not know what she is doing at this time.
Okay. And sir, do you have any safety concerns for your daughter?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I do.
And what are the safety concerns that you have for Luna?
There's no telling how messed up she's gonna get one day, and she's gonna harm my child. At one point, she was. Hold on, let me walk around. At one point, we were together, and she had fallen asleep, and I was asleep, and she keeps sleeping with the baby on the bed. But one day, she woke me up, and said, "How dare you grab the baby and put her on the ground?" So I woke up and I looked. The baby was on the ground. And I was like, it looks like she was placed on the ground. It doesn't look like she fell. And she was like, why would you do that? And I was like, I didn't do that. You know me, when I go to sleep, I don't wake up. And she blamed it on me, and she took off. And that was our first breakup whenever we had the baby.
And how old was Luna when this happened, sir?
2 months.
Okay. Do you know if
Not
Luna
even.
sustained any injuries?
During that time, no. I
Okay.
didn't see that she sustained any injuries, but there's another time she fell asleep with the baby, and I told her to stop doing it. And she fell asleep with the baby again, and she fell off the furniture.
And
In her arms, fell
how
off.
old was Luna at that time?
Months.
And sir, have you ever had to take Luna to seek medical attention for any injuries that she may have sustained?
No, not at that time. No, I did not.
Okay.
When she
and-
fell, I was right there, sitting on the table, and I seen her start to fall, and I reached and grabbed her as fast as I could. She did hit the floor, but not as hard as she could have hit the floor if I wasn't there.
And sir, earlier you heard me dictate onto the record that you and Miss Sierra agreed that Luna's residence should be restricted to Galveston and contiguous counties, correct?
It doesn't need to be, but if she wants to restrict herself, that's fine.
Okay. So at this time, do you have an objection with the residents, with Luna's residence being restricted to Galveston or any county that touches Galveston County?
Luna's residence. No, I do
Correct.
not.
Okay. And sir, at this time, if the court were to order you as the person who designates the residence of the child, what type of visitation do you believe would be appropriate for Miss Sierra to have with Luna?
I believe everything should be, well, of course, it would have to be a trial error. I think
sorry?
that the best thing
Sir,
to
I'm
do
sorry.
is,
This is a trial.
yeah, I know, but it would, I'm talking about the situation would have to be more of a trial way. So
Sir,
what
I don't
would
understand
like
what
to
you're
do-
saying.
Okay, what I would like to do is to do a 50-50 because I believe every parent should be in, control of their child just as much as the other. Okay. I believe if we should both take care of our child the way that we're supposed to. Okay. I believe in visitation rights that she should allow me to get to know my daughter before I get custody of her. I believe that I should come over, or she should come over, my daughter, for 2 times a week to get to know me. And then once she's comfortable around me, then I could take possession of the child. And then we can do a 50-50 thing where she can get the child for 4 days or 3 days or 1 week or whatever the case may be. And then I get the child for the same amount of time.
Okay. So
When it
sir,
comes to medical and all that,
go ahead.
go ahead. Everything should just be 50-50. Paying for the medical and paying for the out-of-pocket.
Okay, so regarding the decision making of the child, who has been primarily making those decisions since the birth of the child?
Since the birth, I was
Yes.
making, we were making joint decisions. And then after the birth, when I kicked her out of the house, she started taking up main medical jurisdiction because she has alienated me from my child completely.
And sir, at this time, how is the child covered for medical insurance?
As of right now, for some reason, she took her off of Medicaid. I'm guessing so that I pay more. So took her off of Medicaid, put her on her own medical plan, and then she wants me to pay her back pay for medical.
And sir, at this time, do you have access to private health insurance for the child?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and how much does it cost you to enroll the child in
$380. $380.
And
Is
do you
that
have
per month?
access?
Say it again.
Is that monthly?
Monthly.
And sir, how much does it cost? Do you have access to private dental insurance?
That's included.
Okay, so the cost of $380 also includes the cost for dental?
Yes.
Okay, and sir, does that amount increase? Well, let me ask you this. You have 2 other children outside of this case, correct?
Right.
And do you have those other 2 children enrolled in your health insurance at today?
No, they're in Medicare, Medicaid, whatever.
Okay, and sir, how much are you paying for medical in the other case?
They just revised it, so I'm not 100% sure. I believe it's around 300.
Okay. And sir,
Actually,
you're
I
working,
think it's like 236 or something like that.
was it like
263?
267?
Something like that.
Okay. And sir, at this time you are employed at Dr. Cole Professor Heat Incorporation?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you been residing there? I mean, working there, not residing.
Over a year.
Over here. Thank you. And
I already told him after my child support case, I'm gonna move in. I already told him.
okay. And regarding the request by Miss Sierra for retroactive child support, she's asking for 7 months of back child support. Did you hear her say that?
Right.
Okay. And during those,
Well,
hold on, let me ask you this. In the past 7 months, have you provided Miss Sierra with any direct support?
I have asked and I've pleaded with her to let me help her with the baby, with the clothes and everything. And she said that she doesn't want nothing from me. Her daughter doesn't need nothing from me. And she doesn't want anything to do with me, that she's going to erase me out of my daughter's life.
Okay, Ms. Robles, how would you communicate that to Miss Sierra?
What do you mean?
How would you offer to help her? What means? Did you do it through text?
Oh, I told her that I would transfer her $200, $300. I even offered to transfer $1,000 because she said that the only way that she could afford paying for the baby is to go get blood transfusions because she can't afford to take care of the baby. So she had to go and do blood transfusions in order to take care of the child. So when she told me that, I told her, I've been begging you to let me help you. I'll give you $1,000 right now. And she told me no, she doesn't need anything from me.
And
When were
Ms.
you all
Robles,
talking?
Say that one
Sir?
more time.
What time frame were these? Were these texts? Were these phone calls? What were they, for one thing?
They were on emails at the beginning of her leaving. I told her
When
that
you
I
all had a
wanted her to
protective
come
order?
back. Yeah, while we had the protective order, we were talking the whole entire time. I didn't know the protective order was even in place because they told me the only way to get the protective order in place is to go up there and get it done. And so I never did that because I wanted to see my child. So I didn't do it. But apparently they did it themselves.
So when did you all stop talking?
We stopped talking after we started going to court. Right before, it was right after we started going to court because she
Which court?
informed
This
me
court or the
that-
criminal court?
This court.
Okay.
She informed me that we are not getting back together. She told me that she needed time to, get money together and buy a car and all that stuff, and then we were going to get back together. And I told her I don't care about that. I just want to see my child, and I told her I do want to get back with her. I was begging and pleading, crying and everything else because I know for a fact the only way I'm going to see my child is through her. So I was doing everything in my power in order to see my child, but I was never given it. Eventually she did, before we went to court, she did let me go up there and see my child. And when I went up there to go see my child,
Okay, sir,
course
sir,
she was- she did.
you're off. All I wanted to know is when I was confused that you spoke at all because all your testimony and her testimony is you all don't speak. And then I wanted to
We
know
do
when you
speak.
stopped speaking. So you're still speaking?
We've stopped speaking after we started going to court for this.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna let Ms. Villarreal take over. I just
'Cause
was
I'm,
a little confused
I'm
with your
blocked.
statements that she was pleading with you because I heard a lot of no communication, to be honest.
Yes.
I
All
didn't,
right.
I wanna try
I've
to
never
misunderstand.
said that we're not in communication. I said that I've been blocked on everything. So
Well, and that
Okay,
would
if I
make it
wanted
impossible to communicate. So you may proceed, Ms. Villarreal.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay,
And
Mr.
Ms.
Robles, let Ms. Villarreal proceed, please.
And Ms. Robles, other than you offering to help, did you actually send her any money?
No, I did not.
Your Honor, well, you know what, Mr. Robles, is there anything else that you believe the judge should be aware of in order for her to make her decision today?
Okay. So before, the whole entire time me and Sierra were together, we broke up 100 million times. It was quite ridiculous. A lot of it out of, whenever she drinks just 2 or 3 beers, she goes insane. And her family and everybody told me about it, but I didn't care. I just wanted to, live my life, And her drinking gets to the point where she starts doing other things, and I didn't realize it. And it went real bad, real fast. I took care of her the best I could whenever we were together. When she wasn't working, I paid for everything, the whole entire 9. I did everything I could for her, and it just wasn't enough. And after we broke up, she's telling people that she's telling me that I'm just, I'm not a good person. I'm not a man, and she needs a man for her child and everything else. And I've been taking care of 2 children ever since I can remember. And for her to tell me that I ain't shit, it just kind of, the whole entire time we were together, it was just one big giant crap pile after another, dealing with drugs, dealing with her parents and what they believe that, you know, she's doing. And it's extremely hard to sit there and tell somebody that you're doing wrong whenever the whole entire family is supporting everything she does, giving her drugs, like, believing everything that she's saying. She told her family that I was beating the crap out of her. She'd get drunk and destroy my house. She'd get drunk and put her hands on me. I would never do this. I would never hit her. The only time I ever was physical with her is whenever she tried to break my window, and I grabbed her because she kicked my window unit out of my window, and I grabbed her and I told her, stop breaking all my stuff. I didn't hit her. I just grabbed her.
Thank you,
And
Ms.
then
Robles.
she was supposed to leave, never left. She has a very, very bad anger issue. Super bad. And if she drinks 1 beer, 2 beers, it's way worse. Way worse.
Thank you, Ms. Robles.
The only thing
Your
I
Honor,
want to do, the only thing I want to do is see my child. She can do whatever she wants. There ain't nothing I can do about it. But I want to make sure my child's safe and that I can see my child.
thank you, Ms. Robles, for that. Your Honor, at this time, I pass this witness. I'd like to call Ms. Sierra very briefly.
You may do so.
Thank you. Ms. Sierra, you heard Mr. Robles say that you have a drug problem. Is that correct?
Yes, I heard him.
And ma'am, when was the last time you used drugs?
4 or 5 years ago,
Okay,
other
and
than marijuana.
okay, and ma'am,
The
have you
CPS
ever?
had me do a
Hold
drug
on,
test.
Miss Sierra, give me 1 second, okay?
Sorry.
Just wait for me to ask you a question. Have you ever been criminally charged for any type of drug-related incident?
No, man. Well, alcohol.
Okay, and when was the last time you were charged for? I'm assuming it was a DUI, DWI.
DUI in 2016, 17.
Okay, and that was prior to the birth of the child.
Correct.
Okay, and since your pregnancy and after the birth of the child, did you have any drug-related issues?
No, ma'am.
Okay, have you ever had to take a drug test?
Yes, ma'am.
When was the last time?
During the CPS case,
Okay, and what was the result of that drug test?
I passed.
Okay, and when you mean pass, you mean you came out you did not
Negative.
have you didn't have any drugs in your system.
Correct.
Okay, and ma'am, do you know if Mr. Robles has any issues with drugs?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so is that okay, Your Honor, at this time I pass this witness. And I have nothing further other than the state does request that the court make appropriate orders for the child, and if the court may also assess the court costs in this case as well, Judge.
And Mr. Robles was given a chance to tell me anything else he thought he needed to. Ms. Bruner, I'm going to give you a similar chance to tell me anything that you think is relevant to the issues before me.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you explained that you want supervised visits, but I'm not sure you explained, I mean, you did say he threatened to take the child. I'm not sure when that was. But beyond that, was there any other reason you thought he needed and he needs to get to know the child? You said that.
Right.
Were there any other reasons you thought you needed supervised visits until, I believe it was 5? Maybe 5?
Well, 5 is to spend the night.
Okay. Is there some reason you thought he couldn't? Can you explain that all better?
So the 2 years, the supervised, just to give him time to get to know her and her to get to know him.
Okay, that's a
And-
very long time, ma'am. I just want to throw that out there.
Right, but it's like the 1st, 3rd, and 5th. And then
It could
the
be more
non-supervised.
if that's your concern. Okay. So this is your chance to explain why.
It's just the supervisors, I just want more time for her to get to know him because she doesn't know him at all. That's why.
And then the overnight issue until 5?
The
which is also a
overnight
very
issue,
long time. Mhm.
yeah, the overnight issue is that just because he has told me that he will take her and I will never see her again. And I'm scared of that.
Does he have connections with some place outside of the United States that he could abscond with her to?
No, he has family in Arkansas that he has told me that he would take her to.
When you all were living together, that brief period before you separated, in was it March of 2023 you separated? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, was he an active father before you all separated?
Not really, no, ma'am. He was always at work and I was at home with the daughter. If I needed to take a shower, he wouldn't really watch her or anything or feed her or change her diaper. I would have to.
Even when he was home?
Yes, correct.
Oh, wow. Hello?
Sir, I'm thinking.
Oh.
I'm working on my ruling.
I can promise you, I did not have a kid in order not to do anything with it. That's
Sir,
ridiculous.
Ms. Brunner, you heard testimony that Mr. Robles has insurance available. Sir, is that through your job?
Say Bruner?
I said she heard testimony that you have insurance available, and then I said, sir, is that through your job?
Oh, yes, yes. I have insurance through my job available.
Okay, and that's the insurance you currently have?
Yes.
Okay, and that's $380 a month. Who is on that plan?
And say that one more time.
Who is on that plan currently?
Whatever it takes to increase up to 3/4.
Sir, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat yourself one more time?
Are you driving, sir?
No.
Are you here and focused on the hearing?
Yeah, I'm focused now.
Okay, please, this is court, and so you have to treat this like you were if you were standing before me. You don't have
I
side
understand.
conversations, because things are gonna get said and you're gonna miss them, and we're talking about your child. And it's rude.
Yes, ma'am.
How many people are on that plan?
Just me.
The 2 children that you provide support are not on the plan? Or they're going to
No.
be put on the plan?
They'll be put on the plan at a later time. Right as of right now, well, the mother has been keeping them on Medicaid, so we were supposed to go back and change that, but I had this court to do. So
I thought you did an order today in that case, sir.
we did do an order today, and the only thing that we didn't change is the insurance, because the guy that was on the phone said that we're gonna leave it there for now until a later time.
Okay. So the insurance you have, that's $380 a month right now, is just you. And at this time, you have no current plans to add
No.
any other children to it except possibly this child. Okay. So the $267 you all were talking about, that's cash medical?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So the way they told me medical would work
Wouldn't
for
it-
me is
Mhm.
it would be $384 for my insurance and the insurance for the child. Now I understand that Sierra is paying almost $600 for hers, but is that for her insurance and the child, or is that just the child? I highly
don't-
doubt that it's
Ms.
just the
Villarreal, can we
child
get
for
some more
Bob.
testimony on the medical insurance? Because I'm not sure I have enough to rule on
Yes,
that
Judge.
issue.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
All right. Miss Sierra, at this time, how is Luna covered for health insurance?
I still have her on Medicaid. I have her Medicaid card and she's also on my insurance through Rallies.
Okay, and how much does it cost per month for Luna?
Per just Luna, it is $269.52.
How for every month?
Yes. Well, that's bi-weekly, sorry.
Bi-weekly, so $269.52 for just Luna?
Yes, ma'am.
How many other people are on the plan?
Me and her.
Okay, so bi-weekly, how much is it total?
Total, I pay almost $400 a month. I mean, a check, sorry.
Bi-weekly,
Yes.
okay. And
Is
as
there any
far
way that
as,
we can get
hold on, Miss
proof?
Robles. Give me a second, Miss Robles. And Miss Sierra, for dental, how much is it for dental?
For her dental, it's $13.61.
And that's bi-weekly as well?
Well, it's included in the 269.
Okay, so that's already accounted for then.
Correct. The total for medical, dental, and vision is the 269 biweekly for her.
Okay. So at this time, Miss Sierra, the child Luna is double covered through government medical assistance and through private?
Correct.
And ma'am, just to confirm, do you have any other children that you have to support?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so Luna's the only other child?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, with that testimony, I am getting that the cost per month, I'm sorry.
And ma'am, when you
It-
say bi-weekly, it's like every other week you get paid?
Yes, every other week.
So if it's every other week, I am getting that the monthly obligation for medical and dental, getting $583.96 just for the child, which exceeds the 9% of Miss Robles. Miss Robles's 9% is 409. At this time, he is going to pay $267 for the other case, Your Honor, which means that the remaining allocated amount for medical would be 142.
Okay. I almost hate to ask this question, but sir, you had said yours is $380 a month? Am I making that number up?
Yeah, mine would be $380 a month. I have proof of that as well.
Okay, and for that 380, is that just for Luna? Is that Luna and you?
That's just Luna.
Okay. And if you had other children on the plan, would that number change?
If I did put more, I'm sure it would, but it wouldn't be a big increase.
Because usually there's a family plan option where you can add as many children as you want. There might be a limit of like 10 sometimes, but it's usually a pretty high limit.
Right.
Do you know what your family plan is? That would have 3 kids on it?
As of right now, no. But I don't have to, as of right now for this court, it's just going to be Luna for now. And then whenever the rest comes, I'll have to take care of that personally. And then we'd have to do another modification at
Yeah, I'm just,
court.
well, I have not signed your order from today, sir.
Oh, okay.
It does not become an order until I sign it, and it has not come through to me. So what I am questioning is whether it would save you money to have all the children on your insurance versus having them all on Medicaid, or
I
one
believe
on, or 2 on
if-
Medicaid and 1 on insurance.
I believe if she's already on Medicaid, there's absolutely no reason for her to be paying for
Well,
insurance on
the
the
family
side.
code has a priority list, sir, of what I'm supposed to order. And the first priority is private insurance through either you or Miss Bruner. The last priority, 3 down from that priority, is government medical. So just leaving her on Medicaid is not what I'm supposed to be following, sir. I'm trying to follow the law if possible. And so I'm wondering if perhaps there's a smarter way of doing all this and
Yeah,
a
it'd be
more
much
economical
cheaper.
way of doing all this.
Yeah, it'd be much cheaper under me.
Do you have,
If I'm
if
the
you
one
have proof of what it costs for you and Luna, doesn't that also show proof of family plan?
It's not initiated until I get a court, like until y'all tell me to go ahead and do it. I can initiate it at any time. So like when we get off the phone, all I have to do is make a phone call to my boss, HR department. Her name is Kylie. I call her, tell her to go ahead and submit Luna, and then she will submit Luna right then and there. She will be covered.
Okay, so that was
right?
not my question. I'm trying to figure out the cost for you and and 3 children.
Oh, the cost on 3 children, I have no clue. I'm pretty sure that would be very expensive, but either way it goes, it's going to be, around $400 that I have to pay Sierra anyway. So to pay $368 would be cheaper either way, or $380, whatever it is.
Sir, I think you misunderstood what Ms. Villarreal said. The maximum that you can pay for medical insurance per their calculations is $409 for all 3 children. If you're already possibly paying, again, not a court order yet,
then it would-
$267 for 2 of the children, that only leaves $142 in this case, which would
Okay, then
equal
it
the
would-
$409. I'm wondering if it's less than $409 per month for you to put all 3 kids on your insurance, which would be cheaper.
No.
That's what I'm trying to
No,
ask.
it would
How do
not
you
be
know that?
cheaper. It's
If yours
gonna
is
be more
380
than-
for you and Luna,
It would be $380 just for Luna. It'd be additional $150 for me. Okay, and that $150 is bi-weekly. So it'd be $300 for me, $380 for Luna, and then any additional kids that I put on there is going to be like $175, $185 additional, if not more. So the cheapest way I could go is to pay Sierra's insurance, and then whenever I get the other 2 kids, then I would most likely have to go into modification again and modify for Abby only. Once I put her kids on my insurance, then it would be modified. And then if it is cheaper to have all 3 kids, then they would modify it. This process is going to take me about 3 months to complete. So it'd be, as of right now, I would just leave it under, if I'm only paying Sierra like $140 or something like that, then we can just leave it under Sierra's insurance for now. And all that's going to be adjusted later. That's the only way I'd be able to do that. If in
Ms.
total,
Villarreal, do you understand what he's saying? Because I'm not following this.
Judge,
So
I
in
think he's
total,
just,
I have
Judge,
to pay
he,
$400.
Sir, let Ms.
Yeah.
Villarreal speak.
yeah,
I don't understand why you'd be coming back. We're here today. I have not signed anything yet. I don't understand why we're planning to do future modifications. So I'm trying to understand.
So-
Can you explain it, Ms. Villarreal?
yes, Judge. So I believe Mr. Robles is trying to say that he is okay in this case to pay $142 for the cash medical support. And given that the 9% is $409 for him, it sounds like, and Mr. Robles, just the $380 that you mentioned, is that per month or biweekly?
That's, I believe that's going to be a per month.
Okay. So at this point, Your Honor, I do believe that the Mr. Robles in the other case that was set for today have reached an agreement, and they would be offering that for your review and approval, Judge. And in that, the cash medical is $267. So at this point, if that is granted, then yes, it would, the max would be $142 in this case. If the thing is, Your Honor, is if Mr. Robles is correct in his testimony saying that just for Luna it would cost $380, and then it would be an additional $150 or $170 for the other children. At that point, I'm not sure if that would be well, we can't combine both of them, but I don't know if it would be a reasonable cost for private health insurance through him either. I guess
Yeah,
it
for
depends
all
on how we're looking at it.
I guess it's, sir, do you want to take a pause and call your company to get actual numbers?
I mean, for all 3 kids, I mean, I would
Yes.
have to go get social security card numbers, which I don't have.
Can't,
And
I've
then
never seen a company not have a chart, sir, of what it costs for insurance, for family, employee only, employee plus 1, employee plus family. There should be a chart. And you shouldn't have to put people on insurance to get the chart. So you can make decisions. They need to give you that information.
I could call Kylie, see if she's in the office, if she's in lunch or what, and see what I can do. But
Okay.
from what I'm saying, they're gonna keep me on Medicaid for Abigail, and
Okay,
mean,
we're gonna pause the hearing and you're gonna make that phone call, sir, because I need to know this information before I can sign either of your orders and before I can rule in this case.
Yes, Judge.
So I'm gonna pause the hearing, sir, and let you make that call.
okay, so I just hang up.
No,
And Your Honor,
Mm.
may I move Mr. Robles to a breakout room so that he can make that call?
yes,
Okay,
and
thank
you
you.
might have to talk, he is on a phone, so I don't know, you might have to talk to him.
Yes, Judge. And Ms. Sierra, if you can go ahead and go back to your breakout room in the meantime while we get this situated, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.